I want to thank everybody for coming, and I want to give special thanks to my colleagues who are joining me today, including two members from the Joint Economic Committee. And we are here together, standing on the side of American workers and continued economic growth. I'd also like to recognize the more than 240 members and 2/3 of senators who support the Ex-Im Bank. At the end of June, the Ex-Im Bank's charter expired, and as a result, the agency cannot make new loans or loan guarantees. It won't be able to help American businesses export their products. And without congressional action, it will have to close down its operations. Some are cheering that fact. Some have made killing the Ex-Im Bank a top priority. But their passions are misguided, and they may do real harm. They are putting American companies at a competitive disadvantage to foreign competitors. These companies will sell fewer products and create fewer jobs for American workers. At a press conference last Thursday, Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz vowed to do whatever he could to kill the Ex-Im Bank because he said it is giving away taxpayer money, end quote. Well, the fact is that it's also getting that money back, plus interest and fees. Since 1992, Ex-Im has returned nearly $7 billion to the Treasury, including $675 million last year. I wanted to get to the heart of this issue, so as the ranking member of the Joint Economic Committee, I asked the staff to prepare a report to help inform the debate. JEC Democrats are releasing that report today. The report shows that Ex-Im programs, including loans and loan guarantees, supported 164,000 American jobs last year and $27.5 billion in U.S. exports. I would call that a great success. Since 2009, the bank has supported $217 billion in exports and 1.3 million jobs. 90% of Ex-Im transactions benefit American small businesses. In a perfect world, we wouldn't need the Export-Import Bank. U.S. companies would face fair competition in the world markets. But the fact is that we don't live in a perfect world. More than 60 countries have export-import credit agencies that work aggressively to give their businesses an advantage over U.S. companies and other competitors. The world's largest exporters, including China and South Korea, help their businesses export goods. Even much smaller economies like Jamaica, Bulgaria, and Latvia do the same. Here's a fact worth noting. Recently, the Export-Import Bank of China's chief country risk analyst told reporters that the demise of the U.S. Export-Import Bank would be, and I quote, a good thing for China. If the United States did not have an Export-Import Bank, our companies would be at a competitive disadvantage. The bank helps level the playing field for the United States and United States workers. Let's be blunt. Shutting down the Export-Import Bank is unilateral economic disarmament. The Export-Import Bank plays another important function. It helps fill gaps in private sector financing. This is critical during recessions when credit can dry up. The dollar value of Ex-Im's authorizations tripled between fiscal years 2007 to 2012. For example, as the bank stepped in to support U.S. exports during the recession and its immediate aftermath. Our recovery from the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression is strong, but it is not complete, and it is a terrible time to eliminate the bank when we need economic growth, particularly for U.S. exports. Some people say that the Export-Import Bank, if it didn't exist, private industry would come in and fill the gap. But here's what the heads of the Financial Services Roundtable and the Bankers Association for Finance and Trade have to say about that argument, and I quote, "Without Ex-Im Bank programs, commercial banks often could not provide the required financing, resulting in lost sales for their corporate clients and lost jobs for employees at these companies," end quote. Congress has voted 16 times in the past to renew the Export-Import Bank during Republican and Democratic administrations. Conservatives who doubt the value of the Export-Import Bank should know that Ronald Reagan said, and I quote, "The bank contributes in a significant way to our nation's export sales," end quote. President George W. Bush said, and I quote, "It helps advance U.S. trade policy, facilitate the sale of U.S. goods and services abroad, and creates jobs here at home," end quote. The National Association of Manufacturers calls for reauthorization of the Export-Import Bank. The National Small Business Association supports it. The Chamber of Commerce endorses Ex-Im and has sent a letter supported by 1,053 American companies. More than 180 House Democrats support legislation to reauthorize Ex-Im, and 60 House Republicans signed a letter supporting another bill that would extend the Ex-Im Bank's charter. So let's review. Ex-Im increases U.S. exports, supports jobs at home, levels the global economic playing field, makes money for the Treasury, does not spend one taxpayer dime, and helps small firms obtain loans when they otherwise couldn't get them from commercial banks. The bottom line is that more exports mean more U.S. jobs and faster economic growth. The Export-Import Bank helps us achieve those important goals. It's time to put the economic interest of American business and workers over political ideologies. Let's stop posturing. Let's stop the misleading claims. Let's stop the threats. Let's do what's right. Let's work to renew the Ex-Im Charter today, tomorrow, every day, until we get it done. It is important and good for the American economy.